Well, good morning, wise owl. What have you started me off at? You know I love books. This has taken me back years. Oh well, in my 75th year and I'm reading ENID BLYTON's books again, and the nuns told us we shouldn't read them because it was bad English. There I am at nearly 75 reading bad English according to the nuns. Well, here we are. We're on another book. I've only got one more. I'm only doing a sample from each. I'm not going to continue all through the night. It's 1:58 now and I was going to bed at midnight. This one's called, and this was one of her first ones, 1958 it says in here, and Purnell produced it, published it. Purnell Books, Berkshire House, Queen Street, Maidenhead, Berkshire. Yes. ENID BLYTON BRER Holiday Adventures, and the title is Mr. Lion Meets Brer Rabbit. And I'm now going to share that with you for your children, grandchildren, maybe great-grandchildren. I don't know how many you've got. So here we go. ENID BLYTON. This book still smells like the others, but maybe it's not quite as bad, or maybe I'm getting used to the smell. They're as ancient as the books, the smell. So here we go, children. The story is Mr. Lion Meets Brer Rabbit. Now once it came to Mr. Lion's ears that Brer Rabbit was getting mighty biggity. He's getting so boastful and biggity that there's no doing anything with him, said Brer Fox. He calls rude names out after us and makes pellets of clay from the clay pit and sends them after us to ping! Look at this lump on my nose and this one on my cheek. That's where the pellets hit me yesterday. You're king of us all, said Brer Bear to Mr. Lion. Why don't you go after Brer Rabbit? He's mighty scared of you. He wouldn't dare to play any tricks on you, Mr. Lion. You could catch him as easy as anything, said Brer Wolf. You just try, Mr. Lion. He wouldn't be much of a mouthful for you, but he's fat and he'd taste mighty sweet. I'll see to it, said Mr. Lion with a roar, and he swung his tail angrily at the back of him. He hadn't told the others that Brer Rabbit had hit him too with a clay pellet. He felt just like catching Brer Rabbit at that very moment. But Brer Rabbit wasn't to be found just then. He was lying under a bush, fast asleep with his friend Brer Terrapin, a winking and a blinking nearby, keeping watch. Pretty soon a little Jack Sparrow flew down and called out to Brer Rabbit, Hey, Brer Rabbit, you'd better get up and look around. Mr. Lion is after you, and he's got a mighty big roar and a mighty big teeth. Hey, Brer Rabbit, you wake up, I say. Brer Rabbit woke up at once when he heard Mr. Lion's name spoken. He looked at Brer Terrapin. He didn't mind Brer Fox being after him. He laughed at old Brer Bear, and he wasn't afraid of Brer Wolf. But Mr. Lion was different. He was mighty big and mighty strong, and he had a lot of fierce-looking teeth. You'd better hide in the cave, Brer Rabbit, said Brer Terrapin, feeling scared. Brer Rabbit scratched his head and thought. a bit. You go there, he said. I've got to go and find something first. And while you're there, Brer Terrapin, just practice that voice of yours a bit, will you? Sing out wara 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 wara, just as loudly and mournfully as you can. I won't be long. Brer Terrapin crawled into a nearby cave and sat there to do as he was told. He opened his mouth and practiced his most mournful voice. Wara wara wara, he sang. Pretty soon Brer Rabbit came along, carrying an armful of old tins from a rubbish heap. Brer Terrapin stopped singing and looked at them in astonishment. Brer Rabbit took some string from his pocket and made a hole in each tin so that he could thread them all together. Then he put 2 stones down beside Brer Terrapin and grinned. I can hear Mr. Lion a roaring and a bellowing. Oh, it's bellowing. I've got him safe in the cave because there's nothing he likes better than a good fat lion. Brer Terrapin struck the 2 stones together and Mr. Lion, he jumped. What's that now? He asked. Oh, I guess the wara wara woo heard your voice and is crashing his teeth together, wishing he could gobble you up, said Brer Rabbit. Clish clash went the stones, sounding just like teeth being gnashed together. Then Brer Terrapin pulled the string and all the tins jingled and jangled together. Mr. Lion jumped again and went a little way off. What's that wara wara woo doing now? He asked. Will he come out and get me? He can't, said Brer Rabbit. I guess that's him rattling his chains. He has to be chained up, you see, Mr. Lion, for I wouldn't like to let him loose in the woods when you're about. You see, I'm mighty fond of you, Mr. Lion. So I am, and I'm not letting any wara wara woo chase after you and eat you. That's good of you, said Mr. Lion. Not at all, said Brer Rabbit politely. I guess you'd do the same for me, Mr. Lion. You wouldn't let anyone chase after me and eat me, would you? I don't think so, said Mr. Lion doubtfully, knowing that he himself had come to chase and eat Brer Rabbit. But he didn't like to do any eating if the wara wara woo was nearby. Anyway, if Brer Rabbit could catch and chain a fierce-sounding creature like that, Mr. Lion didn't feel like trying his strength against Brer Rabbit's. He must be very fierce, for all he looked so small. I'll let you see the wara wara woo if you like, said Brer Rabbit, and he went to the cave. No, 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 roared the lion, backing away into a bush. I can't stay, don't you let him out now. Wara wara woo, wailed Brer Terrapin, and crashed the 2 stones together and jerked the tins on the string. Mr. Lion gave a bellow of fright and leapt over 6 bushes at once and disappeared in the wood. Brer Rabbit went down into the cave. He and Brer Terrapin, they laughed so much that Brer Rabbit nearly split his sides, and Brer Terrapin almost cracked his shell. "You're a wonderful worra worra woo," said Brer Rabbit, wiping the tears off his whiskers. "Oh, Brer worra 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 woo, how do I love you!" That is the end of chapter 1. We end on page 18. Next time we begin on page 19. Brer Rabbit in Trouble. That's coming next time. God bless. Bye-bye. Be good children, big and little.